Hey guys, Tizzou here, continuing my coverage of the Zotac 25. If you don't know what the Zotac is, it's a tournament hosted on a European service, open to any player capable of playing on the European realms. If you're interested, go to the Zotac site and sign on up. Taking a look, this is the last match of the quarterfinals. It's going to be a Terran versus Terran on Xel'Naga Caverns. Spawning in the top position, we have Gruang spawning as the red Terran versus the blue Terran Tarson spawning in the bottom position. It's going to be a civil war, brother against brother, marine against marine, SCV against SCV, throwdown on Xel'Naga Caverns. Just taking a look at our map, Xel'Naga Caverns, as you'll note, has a very nice, close, easy to get to expansion. But your third base, you have the question mark of hiding and meekly, mildly taking this bottom base, or going for the gusto, going for the gold, taking the gold, knocking down these rocks. If you go for the gold, however, you are going to be so close to your opponent's base. You're going to be just a hop, skip, and a jump away from a tank deciding to siege tank, rain fire down on your command center. We'll see how these players decide to expand, and if they even get that far. Taking just a closer look, supply depot going down before barracks for both players. Not going to see any kind of interesting Reaper play. Both players throwing down a barracks right away, right on 12. It's going to be a very standard economic opening. Here we go. Gruang is already going out to scout. Same story for Tarson. Tarson's setting out his SCV. It looks like adding on gas here and gas here. Both players going to play this mirror matchup as merrily as possible. Not merrily. Merrily, if that word does not exist, go ahead and throw it into a Zachism book of words that I have come up with. Taking a quicker look here, we have an SCV across the field, about to get that valuable scouting information he so desperately wants. Gas finally being finished. Barracks just about done. SCV going to get all the information he needs. Knows there's no kind of crazy triple barracks push coming out. Anything too crazy. Gas has already started, so he can take comfort in that. Marine being produced. Tarson also getting all the scouting information. Both players getting that orbital command at exactly the same time. And look at this, the sixth sense that both SCVs seem to have, knowing when it's time to get out of the base, and they quickly leave before that Marine is done. Don't want to lose an SCV unless you have to. And jumping back to our red player's base, Gruang, he is doing everything very standard. Marines throwing down the supply depot. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a factory from both players and probably moving into tank Viking like TVT has always been played. Gruang, I said it right the first time, taking that top watchtower, wants to be aware of anything coming out. Nope, decides to ditch that watchtower, says there's a prettier one down here. He wants to go say hello to this watchtower. Looking at our opponent's base, Tarson, he has a factory going down, second gas being started, second gas already started for Gruang as well. Factory going down, Gruang doing everything in the same merry way, but no! Here we go, finally diverging in their play. Gruang is getting a Reaper now. We're going to see what he's going to decide to do with this Reaper. You don't see a lot of Reapers in TVT just because Marines can also shoot range, so Reaper's kiting doesn't come into play. Tarson throwing the factory onto that tech lab, probably going to be producing siege tanks. No, we're actually going to see Hellion and Blue Flame Hellion. Okay, I'm sorry. He's probably getting this to deal with a lot of Marines. I assume he's going to be, assuming that Gruang is going on Marine-heavy build. Very interesting, because generally you'll see a tank Viking, not a Hellion push. Jumping back to Gruang, only 2 Marines. And here we go, throwing down an early expansion, putting his factory on this tech lab. Is he going to go siege tanks, or is he going to go Hellions as well? We'll see in a second. Already throwing up this expansion. This is going to come out to be the pivotal point in this game. Is this expansion going to pay off, or is these 400 minerals going to bite him in the rear whenever Tarson comes out with an early push? Here we go. It looks like siege tanks going down and siege tech getting ready to do that siege tech expand. Reaper doing all the kind of harassment he can. Got 1 kill on a unit that was out and running right into 2 Hellions and Marine. Not getting anywhere, not getting any scouting information. I apologize for bringing up that. Here we go. Starport just about finished. Hellion, another Hellion, going to have 3 Hellions on the field, and that Blue Flame almost done. Jumping back to Gruang's base, 3 Marines, 1 siege tank. That siege tank is going to be absolutely huge. I don't think those Hellions are going to be able to do a lot against that siege tank, but those Hellions are going to do a ton against those Marines. Engineer Bay going down. I wonder if he's going to plan on getting turrets or upgrades. Throwing down that starport. He knows he's going to be behind in the air battle, and in Terran versus Terran, the air supremacy is important because the air is what spots for your tanks to be able to see far away and shoot far away. Taking a look, still concentrating on Hellions. Very interesting play. Haven't seen a lot of Hellions in TVT. Generally, it's reserved for tank Viking. We'll see what he does with these Hellions if he decides to drop them in and go right for the SCVs, or if he's going to go for some kind of push and just use those to melt the Marines. But with these 2 siege tanks here, it's going to be tough. throwing down missile turrets at his at his minerals and at his front door, not throwing anything down on the bottom. He just wants that engineering bay to make sure no kind of cloaked Banshee comes in. Raven being created. Man, Tarson is using me and not making me know what's going on. Hellion still being produced. Blue Flames already finished. Marines, Raven, Hellion. This is going to be a very interesting match. Here we go. Dropping those Hellions in the back of the base. Blue Flame going to torch these SCVs. Oh, SCVs going down, bringing up the economy tab 27 to 26. We'll see how many SCVs he loses during this. And those siege tanks just destroying those Hellions with no... is he going to get any more? Oh, the mule goes down. That's really huge. The mule just costs a lot of energy. 50 energy, costs 270, and look at that. He lost about 10 harvesters there, down to 14 harvesters, down to 11. Just absolutely insane. That harass is going to really pay off, but the one bonus that Gruang has going for him is he has that additional orbital command, allowing him to produce SCVs twice as fast, but he's already at a deficit, 27 to 12, 15 SCV deficit, absolutely huge. Adding on that tech lab to his factory, going Banshee, not getting the cloak, however, deciding just to go for a Banshee, getting more air presence. I said Tank Viking. These both players say I'm crazy and don't know what I'm talking about. Hellion getting in. These Hellions getting 8 kills, 9 kills. These are the same Hellions from before. Gonna make it out of there alive with their lives. This is not looking good for Gruang, losing so many SCVs, so not looking good. Sorry for that little bit of confusion in my words, getting confusing myself. Marines with that one Raven, medevac going across the field, probably going to pick up these Hellions and drop them into the base. And look at the way he just burned down 3 additional Marines. This is absolutely huge. And Gruang knows it's time to push. He's going to see if Tank Viking can hold out. See, in 1.1, tanks no longer one-shot Marines, making Marines quite useful in TVT. That's probably why he opted to go for Hellions, but Gruang opted to go for Siege Tank Viking and not really needing to worry about having too many Hellions burn down his Marines. Marines backing up this Banshee. Here we go. Finally the Marines decide to back up those Siege Tanks. Banshee about to go down. Maybe not. Yes, Banshee just barely goes down. Siege Tanks at his front door. Tarson's in quite the pickle, but now he's adding on Marauders. These Marauders are going to be huge against these tanks, but is it going to be enough? 4 Siege Tanks is going to do terrible, terrible damage to this. Jumping back to the red Terran space. Hellions already in the mix, burning down SCVs, bringing up the economy tab. 8 SCVs versus 30. These Hellions doing just terrible, terrible damage. I don't think Tarson's going to be able to do anything to come back this game because he's going to be completely out of harvesters. Bringing up the economy he has right now. He has 260 minerals, so he can only produce 5 SCVs, bringing his total up to a whopping 9. And dominant position we have Tarson, but the problem is he's being pushed in by these siege tanks, and now the Banshee just now finishes off the Marines. Banshee's going to have a field day killing these siege tanks. I think it's a good game. I don't know how Gruang is going to be able to defend this any further. That Banshee just being too much. These siege tanks already in position and forced to back out. And this Hellion just coming in. Look at that, 21 kills on Hellion. This Hellion is a hero Hellion. Excuse me, hero Hellion, not a Hellion. Here we go, just sitting on top of the siege tank. I love it. Not letting that siege tank fire on him. Taking a closer look, he's trying to build his SCV numbers back as quickly as possible. Already up to 10, but it's not going to be enough, I don't think. He's bringing up the army tab, 21 to 72, almost a 3 advantage. 1 Viking poking down and killing that Banshee finally. Here we go, drop ship, 1 Marauder, 6 Marines, 1 SCV. I think this is going to be too much. I don't know how Gruang is going to be able to defend this. Another siege tank, 2 siege tanks, a ball of Marines. Units tab up 12 Marines, 4 Marauders, 1 medevac, Banshee versus 1 siege tank, 1 Viking, 1 Marine. I think this is just going to be a terrible hurting for Gruang, but we'll never know until it happens. Here we go, Tarson pushing in, not getting too close to siege tank. The siege tank range for his are right about here, and his is right about here. Here we go, Marines coming in, gonna snipe this siege tank. Siege tank goes down, good game for Gruang. Tarson just takes down the game. The Banshee play, the Hellion play, just too much harass for Gruang. Gruang just let Tarson do what he wanted. This game is over. Moving on to game 2. This was TizzouSC. I hope you enjoyed.